No. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
It's been a while.
Mm.
You just make me laugh, so that's good. Can you tell us a little bit where are we? When are we? Because since the last time we recorded, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
And I think today's podcast is sort of a catch up and a transition into a new territory of making laugh podcasts. And there's a lot that happened, so let's try to find out what we want to share. But maybe you just want to say like first about like the now.
The now. It's oh my God! It's All Hallows Eve.
Oh yeah.
It is Halloween. It's deeply scorpionic. I think in a lot of parts of the world. I think in the big picture, and in our world, there's a lot of like we were in the jungle in Peru, in Iquitos. We held a retreat there, and then we're now in Sacred Valley in Peru, specifically in Pisac, and we've been here for about 3 weeks, and we've been doing a lot of work during this time on our organization and on some programs and on some things that we've each been sort of putting a lot of time into for years. And we've also been doing a lot of work on our relationship, and maybe I'll finish with yesterday morning. We had a hand tying ceremony at a river, and we offered some flowers to the river, and we called in some spirits, and we made a big transition in our relationship. We said some vows to each other. Specifically, the hand tying ceremony was about doing something for a year. So you might say we created a ceremony and we entered a new year together on October 30th, which also happened to be a sacred day here in the Sacred Valley. I found after I was hiking in the ruins after our time together. So, yeah, does that land us where we are and when we are?
Yes, that's great. So the last time we basically, it's funny because I just released the last episode. So the last time when we talked together, and our last episode was, we were somewhere in California before you brought me to the airport. We're sitting in your van, and we actually kind of were talking about that because we also had a ceremony at that time, which was a ceremony to close. So it's kind of poetic in a way. It was a closed.
Oh, we closed. And now we've opened.
And now we've opened. But between then and now, I think it's good for those who are following us to put a little bit of a time. So it's been like almost 2.5, 3 months between the last episode and now. Lots happened. I went to Montreal, came back to the United States, and then we came back here to Peru. And I think I would like to explore a little bit because, as you said, like lots happened, not just in our relationship, but also really we were so dive deep into our work, our creation. And I think the intention for today's podcast, because we were like ready and excited to start a new chapter of these episodes. Today's episode is like what happened and sort of kind of transition into this new territory, which we kind of talked about, like shifting a little bit from our relationship focus to more the work focus, the creation that we're both doing together. But before we go there, I would like to just kind of sit with like, for you, if you go back into this timeline and this, for you, like I want to know your story and your perspective. What came like in your personal life? What is alive now? If you like go back and you can share like the different layers of your journey until now.
Okay.
What did you learn? What's new?
Beautiful. What a beautiful question. Thank you. I think I would say this particular window that we're talking about. So as we closed, I just remembered that was our last episode. So we were sitting in the Ojai Valley, and you were flying the next day. Mm-hmm. And we had just we'd spent like a week traveling down there, and we had this ceremony at these hot springs. Mm-hmm. And there was some relational pieces, but means so much of what we've been doing as we've come together is about the work that we're doing together. But there's been a lot of finding and figuring out. And in the Kemper, I think it was the next day of that ceremony, something really beautiful happened where it was you. You understood for the first time, like who a big part of the people that we were caring about and creating content for and creating products for were. And those were something like people in corporations and in businesses. And you're like, oh, it's not only for that, because there's a lot of different, but all of a sudden you were like, oh, right, there's a large part of this is for the world of organizations and structures that are doing a lot of the things that we could think about as bad. And it's like, oh yeah, we're making stuff for them, and we want to work with them, and we want to create ceremony with them, and we want to talk to them, and we want to dance with them, and have ceremony, like all of these different things. And I think as that hit, it was really beautiful. I was like, yeah, but there was a recognition in me that I came from a background of being an entrepreneur, and I did a lot of organizational consulting. And as you had this realization for the next like 20 hours, I was like, well, yeah, these are the people that I love. They're not the only people that I love, but there is something in me that really loves people that are, and understands people that have projects and that are doing things. And there's also a big part of me that judges and hates. And, but there was just this recognition of like, wow, I like it when people get together in business and are doing things. Mm-hmm. So all of that happened. We had this podcast. You flew to Montreal. I spent the next month, thinking that I was going to go get lost in the woods, because I've been wanting to just go on a pilgrimage for like 3 years and just walk. Mm. It was like, hey, you're going to leave and I'm just going to not talk and walk for 2.5 weeks. Instead, what happened is I spent all of the time writing, and I started, I hadn't written for a long time. I wrote basically like a manual for organizations, what I would call like organizational shadow stalking. So thinking of organizations as a living, breathing thing, and then people as the embodiment of an organization. So I wrote a lot about that, and then I wrote about what it means to be an embodied leader, and it was very messy. And then I shared it with you, and then you gave me feedback, and you began to put your genius into those things. And 3 months of just like intense work from that moment has really arrived us to, there's been a lot of places, but that are the thing that ties everything about what you and I do together is embodiment. And embodiment isn't just a personal thing, though that's a huge piece of it. It's also, we have a systemic. And so in organizations, like if a bank is going to make good things and beautiful things happen in the world, then they need to be an embodied bank, which is something like they need to have soul in them. They need to all together have a culture and know themselves as it, similar that a person does in embodiment. So we created 3 streams. We've made a website. We've written this leadership manual that is going to be a program that we're going to offer for 12 months that in many ways is like the place for people to come together and start to create common language and common values and common culture, and then work in many different places together. So there's a lot of things that are just starting to click, and I think both of us have been doing everything we can to kind of like follow that when it's all coming, and it's been a lot. It's been stressful. It's also been beautiful. like the clarity has been really beautiful. But I would say for me, then what has been happening the last 3 months is a whole bunch of understanding the work and having it sort of land in how we're going to do it. Where I was then was trying to do something hard for 3 years. Where I am now is knowing, almost, it feels like knowing what I need to do for the next like 2 years, and it's big and it's a lot, but I'm like, okay, I have to do that, and then I have to do that. There's a way where I could see it on a task list now. And before it was very amorphous and very philosophical.
Thank you. Yeah. That's good. You run into the work part. That's good. So I think I'm gonna share more about the other aspects of our lives. But yes, I think we both, because
Can I? Sorry, I want to hear, but it was such a good question that I just want to hear about you. Like, I actually want to hear, like, don't, not even the storyteller. I'm curious, as your love, what has the last 3 months been for you since that ceremony?
Yeah, I think for me, meeting you a year and a half ago, and then now us journeying since we left Thailand, the work's been an essential part. I've been observing you working when we met, and I only joined in when you left Thailand. So it's not that long that I'm working with you. And it was like a journey for me to like realize, yes, this is our shared common purpose and work. And I'm here to support you. And I also feel supported by you, which brings me to, there's a lot of like us getting to know each other in our relationship and building trust. There was also a lot of like creative friction of like, what are we actually doing together? And I feel, and there was like a part of me, I remember actually in Montreal, it really landed. I like sent you this message, and it was me saying, oh my God, John, if I could dream what my ideal future is, this is what I want to do. And then we call it the embodied mystery, but it was basically space holding and hosting events that are very connected to Earth and gathering of communities, and there is healing happening and there's embodiment, but there's also the spiritual part of it is working with medicines, a shamanic way, but also like honoring ancestral ways. And so I was like, this is what I want to do, and this is what I feel your genius is, which was what you just shared about working with organizations, because you shared with me a lot, and I just like kind of clicked. I was like, oh yeah, this is your passion. And then we call it Bridges and Doors. And so guys, you can all find out on our website. Now we finally have a website where that took also a journey. Like I could, because this website was a creation of 4 months. And I remember the beginning when we started to create, it was completely something else. And then by the summer, the August, I think, when I came back from Montreal, it was like, oh my God, no, this is what we are doing. So we like started a second website, and it felt finally aligned. It felt like finally we both know what we are doing together, and we know it's not only the two of us, it's going to be a family of creatives and visionaries and people.
We need a lot of help.
We need a lot of help, a lot of hands, a lot of hearts. But right now we are like, let's say 3 committed people. The most committed is like the 2 of us, but I already start to feel it. So it's already here. So it feels really good. And I mean, being with you in August, I was with your family, I was with your daughter in this beautiful lake. Echo Lake, the name just like Echo Lake. And it was challenging because of many reasons, but mostly there was still like getting to know each other. I think that was the first time I actually spent. No, it was the first time I spent 1 month with your family. So yeah, I was, and we were. There was not just your family. There was like other families, and yeah, and also like a cultural interaction for me. Very first time that I actually spent this much time in the States. And at the end of August, the beauty was that I already planned, like a few months ago, our first rite of passage retreat. And because I wanted to go to Peru for myself to do some healing, I was like, oh my God, I want to bring people here. And then I asked you to join me and to co-facilitate with me. And we co-facilitated with another woman. But it was first time we worked together and like facilitated a group. And it went really well. So that was a big test. That was a big rite of passage for the two of us. We've got amazing feedback from the people. People already want us to do another one. And they told us how we complement each other. And I remember like there was a moment where I had to really like withdraw myself, you know, like just let you. Basically, there was a lot of letting go from my side of like, this is not just my space. And a lot of like, no, Eva, like just hold back and observe, which then allowed me to learn so much more about myself. I wasn't burned out at the end, which I was in my first retreat where you also participated, but more as an observer and a helper in a kitchen. But like I was burned out after that one. So were you, I think, because you were working in a kitchen. So this time we didn't have to work in a kitchen, but it was beautiful, and it gave me also, this is my third time coming to Peru, so coming back here was a big, it had a big meaning for me. It had a big meaning because 10 years ago I came here for the first time, and it completely changed the itinerary of my journey. So I'm so grateful to these lands. It feels like a home. My soul feels like it's remembering its essence here. I feel free, I feel powerful, and also it was our first time we were in an ayahuasca ceremony together. And even though we both have very, like, I think, relaxed relationship with plant medicine, which is something that we don't use regularly, but it's more like our friend, and when it's calling, we like listen to the call. We both realized, and we were laughing, I remember, that maybe it was ayahuasca who brought us together, because we both had like this big awakening with her many years ago, but like in a personal, completely different ways. So yeah, it's our last day in Pisac, in Sacred Valley. I wanted to come here since the first time I came to Peru, never made it, so it's also very significant for me to come this time, and I start to understand like it was only now that I was supposed to come, and to brought you here to do the ceremony here with you, to experience South America with you, and we both like feel already that we want to come back, and that was really good. And I'm excited now about the journey ahead, which is very different. We go to the other side of the world slowly, like in a different separate ways. But now I do really feel the excitement, because I took like a break from, I mean, you've been working a lot, and I've been kind of working in a different ways. Like I was more with prayer, with land, with the spirits, but also like, you know, reading what you're doing and giving it love and my feedback. But I'm excited now to go back to more grounded, for me, more grounded environment, my house in Thailand, and start to create and really focus on the work, and all these really exciting things that are coming. Yeah.
You want to touch on all those very exciting things? Or do you want to wait?
I think I want to wait, maybe, but I do feel, I feel like I would like to, I think my intention because also we spoke that from now on, we want to have like one of us being the interviewer, or do
You.
like so yeah. It's me. And I do feel like I was kind of feeling into today, and I was like, today is a transition, and it was so beautiful, and I feel like people followed us in our personal journeys, and I think we might come back to our personal journey at some point, but because it's so alive, the creation that we both are in, I really want to start to focus on, I think that what's most alive for us right now is this program, is this embodied leadership program. And I think I want to then kind of, because you're kind of the creator of it, the main creator, like I want you to talk about the 4 different topics and pillars in the next episode. So we're going to do topic by topic because it's so rich, and we can... because for me it is also very rich with material and inspiration, and also like just learning about how one can start to see the world, or the life, or what's possible. Mm-hmm. So do you want to maybe just say what's like the next few weeks to close? And
yeah well, I mean, I imagine that we'll still have plenty of personal woven in to the
episodes.
Yeah, to talking about the work. You know, I imagine we're actually gonna. There's something rich there where when we'll meet on this topic. So that feels good. It's probably not the last. You know, where and when we are.
Yeah.
The next few weeks. We're flying today. We have. Quite a marathon of different flights, because it's difficult to get to Sacramento, California, or our cars from Crucial, actually from Pisac. So we're doing this today, and then we'll get there and we'll see a dear friend who's been babysitting the tiny house on wheels that we have in North America, and we'll spend a few days then getting up to Washington State, where Willa, my daughter, is. Spend a week with her while her mom's partner go to do some tending in the South in Tennessee, and just reconnect with Willa there, and then essentially you and I will have another week together, and then you'll leave, and then I will stay around and enjoy some of the winter. Tend everything I need in North America, mainly my daughter, because she'll join us in Thailand a few months later. But it's been after we had a month together. Now it's been 2 months since we've seen each other. So we'll kind of do some reconnection there, and then I'll come join at some point in Pai. Probably definitely before we were going to have our first emergence for Dreaming in Unison. Which we'll have a big event there on the winter solstice, and I'd like to be there for that. And that's I think what the next weeks, and I think that in terms of each of us have we've got there's content to create and there's things to do, and time feels rich, and I think we both feel like it feels good to be moving. What I will say about this valley, after leaving the jungle, just that I unexpectedly met a land and a place that I'm not looking to settle, and I'm not looking to call home, but these lands, I was like, wow, they're very aligned with, and I could feel myself landing. So, and that's what allowed me to be like, wow, I can't wait to come back here for many years in a row to these places. And there's a way where I think a lot of what, if my work came from organizations, what I'm looking for and what I'm dreaming about when I go to places is where people are building together in sort of bigger formats, communities, and there's food that's interwoven in, and there's children, and there's schooling, and there's all of these different things. And so in this valley, I can really feel there's some version of familial relations between many different cultures, but mainly the ancient ones are holding it down here, and it's really seamless. And so then this valley is really long and it's really beautiful, and there's really good food that's very nourishing, and there's a connection to land that you don't feel very many places. So I've really gotten to fall in love here, and I'm happy to be going to North America.
Yeah, thank you. I also felt like I wanted to just touch a little bit on this valley because I agree with you. The food, the people, like these ladies in their traditional costumes, walking down the mountains and carrying like wood, and being so tough and so beautiful in their face, like full of wrinkles and sun, and the hikes. Shooting on coca leaves, and the hikes that we've done. I mean, I've been in the Andes the first time I came here, but not this area. But still, like I got this touch, and for me, it's a remembering that I used to live in Mexico and I traveled a lot in South America, and it's this remembering that I really feel alive here. It's like my soul feels on fire, my voice, there's a lot of fire. There's a lot of fire, and there's something about the culture that is very open. Like the South Americans are, like, if they open, they really open, and you can be friends with them. I love Spanish. We both are like my Spanish came back in a way that I didn't expect, and I'm like, wow, I can now like really learn this language to the extent that I wanted the last time I was here. Because coming to Thailand was very unexpected for my journey. I never thought I would go there. So it just feels so good for me to retouch it. And I did my own ceremony on Monday, and I've seen these faces in the mountains and these rocks, and I just saw these ancient beings here guarding something very ancient, and the connection to the star people. And these ruins and everything, it's still it's not touristy, it still has its own essence.
I think what feels very exciting. What feels profound to me, I think I talked about it a little bit, but it's like there are those faces in the rocks which you can see in some places where you're like, wow, these lands are alive because they've been prayed to and there have been people on them. The difference here is that it's like there's been no break. I mean, there was the Spanish Inquisition in Peru. There's a lot of things, but you can really feel it to where the cultural through line for for tens of thousands of years potentially is, maybe not completely unbroken, but there's ancestral connections that go all the way back, and then in that way they go probably forward, and there's many different ways to sort of relate to that, and that just feels, to my being, it feels so it's like you get a little bit teary because so many of these lands and these power places, they don't have a connection to their past, it's broken somewhere, and so to just feel the people, and then the people like ourselves that are coming here, where it's like we're landing in something that's held. And then there's still the Western world, there's still consumerism here, there's still these things, but it hasn't taken it over. It's like there's something preserved, there's something stronger than the West here, which feels, it's like, it feels like there's elders, there's something here that I haven't met so perfectly, and it's good.
Peru for me, like, it's funny because it's been the jungle mostly, and for me the jungle, the Amazonian. When we were leaving, I was steering in the flight, but then coming here is this, like, as we spoke, like this underworld and the upper world, and it's all within one country, and then there's the ocean. So bless Peru. Can't wait to come back and do some work here, more work, because it really welcome us, and we've been already offered work. So we already know that that's what's happening. So it feels really good.
It feels like we'll be coming back for decades, right?
Probably.
Yeah, it's like, really, if we're honest, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one of those places.
One of those. Come back to.
Yeah. Yeah, bless you, mountains. And I think, with these words, I want to close this this episode and get ready for our long, long flight ahead.